Hello, everybody. We are live once again after last week's absence due to me having plague. How are you? Hello, Sean, Jen, Alex, Giovanni. How are you guys doing on this Friday evening?
Doing better now. I'm home.
There's a weekend coming, so I'm good.
It's always nicer, like when you got shit to do and then you get home. But the problem is, as soon as you sit down, it's like, shit, I got shit to do before I can actually relax. Like that's always the worst thing, where it's like, oh, and then you got to get like right back up to fucking do whatever task you forgot to do. The worst is when I come home, or if I come into the like, it'll be like 3 a.m. because I bounce between my couch and my bed, and I'll come in and I'll just look down and there's a pile of shit on the floor from Minnie, and it's like, you fucking bitch! Like it's 3 a.m. and I fucking groggily step into the bathroom to get some toilet paper.
Well, it's better that you didn't step right on it, though.
She's actually pretty smart about it. She does it out of the way of walking. I don't know if it's sneaky or smart, but one way or another. It might be
sneaky, conniving, yeah.
Well, she does it by Jen's desk all the time, but she loves that area. Like, she'll go lay under Jen's fucking computer chair, and if she tried to do that by me, I'd have broken bones on that poor little dog, because I'd move back without knowing, and I'd hear a, yeah, oh God, what the, like Christmas Story where the cat's under the fucking couch?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen says it's annoying she chooses her desk here. It just means she trusts that she's safe and comfortable over here. She understands that if she tried to do it by my desk, there's lots of death traps. I have swinging maces that come down, and there's a shotgun over here with 1 round loaded into it, tied to a string. There is a grenade somewhere back here, so I don't know where it is anymore. I used to. But
Matt's got one of those traps from the Ghostbusters sitting there, too, to catch him.
I just step on it and start sucking her in. Oh, shit, it's a dog. I thought it was a demon again. No, that's for when it's like 2 a.m. and I'm watching a horror movie in the living room, and then out of like my periph, you swear you
see something or hear something,
a shadow, and it's like, and then of course downstairs at night, like if I ever wanted to turn this house into a Saw home, it would be really easy, because down here it gets so fucking pitch black to where like even the TV at night isn't glowing the rest of the area. So you look to your left and you are like, you remember that movie Mama, where it's just that ghostly figure in the fucking shadows, and eventually it fucking spook attacks? I feel like that's gonna happen to me one day. I'm gonna go up to get a bottle of water and be like, what's that? The fucking demon's just gonna take me out. Don't have those issues with snakes. I gotta be honest with you. You know what else I don't have issues of? A snake fucking eating me. My dog ain't gonna eat me. At most, she'll bother me, shit on my floor, paw me a little too aggressively. Ain't gonna eat me. She's not gonna eat her sibling.
Even most dogs, like I think after you pass away, they won't do that for a long time, right?
No, but cats will fucking go to
eat
town
right away. Yeah, right away.
Cats will be like, oh, the kibble isn't down? Well, I guess we gotta eat them.
At least the dogs will sit there for a while before they even do something.
Well, we've all seen the infamous episode of Futurama where the dog waits for him until its own demise.
Aww.
Very sad, very sad. Cats don't do that. Cats eat you, flee the house, and find somebody else to eat when they die.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cat's agenda. Cats are evil.
That movie Hachi was the same way with the fucking dog, the Akita.
Oh, is that with the, what's his face, the rabbit fucker?
Yeah, Gerbil fucker.
Gerbil fucker, sorry.
Or he let gerbils fuck him, sorry.
Richard Gere, right? I saw a photo of him, and he, like, it is kind of funny because it doesn't matter how, like, handsome you are in your heyday. White men all look the same as they get older. Like, they all start to look like Mr. Burns meets Harrison Ford. It's so fucking weird. Like, Hollywood white dudes, as they age, all have this same tight forehead. All the wrinkles start coming in, and then they just look feeble.
Their nose gets pointier.
Yeah, they go from like hero buff guy to like, sir, do you need help walking down these stairs? It's just the weirdest fucking, like they literally go from Indiana Jones to Joe Biden.
Speaking of old people, have you seen Jackie Chan lately?
Yeah, he looks rough.
I mean, fucking completely gray, and he looks like
he's in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he looks like he needs a fucking walker. I feel bad. All them fucking broken bones.
You know, I was gonna say, if anybody deserves a fucking walker, it's that guy. Like, he should have some manservant carrying him around. Like, hey, you know, I'm sorry that he's apologizing to the guy as he's carrying him, and he's like, it's okay, man. You jumped 45 feet into cardboard boxes 16 times to get one take. No problem, guy.
All the money he made for his country, they should fucking get him an exoskeleton so he can actually still walk around on it. No problem.
He is a China loyalist too, to the detriment of his own children. I think one of his kids is gay, and he's like, doesn't exist.
Not my kid.
I didn't make that child. That fuck up. I didn't make that fuck up. Yeah, no, he's kind of a rough shit when it comes to his traditional Chinese laurels. Good or bad. I mean, I know that a lot because a lot of people gave him shit because he was actually from Taiwan. Yet, and this is obviously because he's been a Chinese celebrity for 45, 50 years. They kind of own him. He has to be pro-China, pro-mainland. But he was,
he has to.
a lot of people were protesting him because he was a Taiwanese that went pro-China, and people were like, fuck this guy. He hasn't been very popular in Taiwan and shit like that in the past decade.
Every time I hear Taiwan, I think of the band that we went to go see at Ozfest.
And
your brother bought their CD.
Too. There used to be a lot of that buying CD shits at concert, including myself. And it's like, the problem if you've never seen a band and you buy a CD at the concert is, generally speaking, the music you're hearing is so fucking distorted that you don't even know what the album's going to sound like. Like, have you ever, you know how fucking hard it is to try to pick a track that you heard live off of somebody's CD you bought that day? It's damn near fucking impossible if it's heavy metal.
I'm a personal believer that all live music is worse than the album.
I tend to think that the same. Yeah.
Well, you know how that's true? Because every one of these live recordings that are beloved, oh man, it sounds just like on the album. Okay, if that's what we're going for, then the album cut is better. Like, why are we pretending the live? Like, I don't need to hear the ambience of drunken assholes screaming as I'm trying to listen to a fucking song. Like, I agree. I'm a studio track guy myself. Now, the true question is, how many pieces of vinyl do you
own? 22. 22
how much?
pieces.
We own a fair collection.
I got about 50, 60, somewhere around there.
I own all of Daft Punk's album collection.
See,
and my wife let me buy their first vinyl album for $400. And I was like, it's worth it. They're not around anymore. Trust me.
Oh, God. That hurts me, Giovanni.
I know.
You don't understand. That hurts me.
The
Only
Nirvana
great live album
Unplugged was good.
the Nirvana Unplugged. But I have silly albums that shouldn't be bought on albums. Like because I got it for $10, I have the Slipknot's first album in vinyl. I do have Guns N' Roses' first album in vinyl. The not Symphony of Destruction. What was the first album name? The one with Paradise City and all the good ones on it.
Appetite for Destruction.
Yes, I have that.
Weird Al's first and second album.
That would be pretty nice, actually. I would buy that. Jen's got some.
I didn't even know I had it.
We've got classic shit. You know what it was? We went through a phase for a while, and there was a phase for a while where it was like people were putting vinyl on sale.
I have George Carlin's 7 Little Words or something like that.
7 dirty words you can't say on the radio. Very nice.
I found that at a swap meet or some shit like that.
I think we do actually have a Robin Williams album, now that I think about it. Yeah, we got a bunch of random shit. We were cruising, thrift stores and record stores and shit for a while. But the problem is when it got popular again, it got expensive again. Like, and it wasn't just reissues. Like, reissues were coming out for $27, $30. But then you go to a record store and it's a used fucking whatever that you should be able to pay $5 for. And these things were $15, $20. And you're like, well,
my mother-in-law likes like Frank Sinatra, and we go to album stores around here to get her the original copies.
Yeah.
And they're like $40, $50. And I'm like, oh
yeah. Once it got popular again, the reissues came out, which makes it easier to get them, but they're also way more fucking expensive. Need those sweet screams on the. Well, actually, the best part about vinyl with metal, to be completely honest with you, depending on your needle and quality and everything, is there's less of a middle end. So, like, you do get less bass out of it, but you also do hear a little bit of the other instruments, much more of like in a. I don't even know how. I don't want to say tin can because it's not that, but it's a different soundscape. I will admit that.
They don't come through just louder. They're more pronounced throughout.
I would imagine.
You can also fix that bass thing. You can fix that by just adding an amp to your.
Well, I wouldn't. It's also needles and stuff too. Like if you have a really expensive needle and like a nice record player, I'm sure, and like we had it set up to the
Audio
sound system in here, but like I'm sure if you've got, if you got like a setup that's worth a couple grand, it sounds probably wholly different than what I'm experiencing. Which to say is probably more than likely better. But then once again, it's like every song ever made, or I got to be home plugged into a fucking record player.
So
like, it's
we're
cool, but
You know, Volo, that car museum.
Yeah.
They also have a giant flea market there, or whatever you want to call it. Giant thrift stores.
Where the gypsies
And
go.
and two of the big stores are all vinyl. You just walk in there and
Oh, wow.
they still sell them at for like $4, $5,
that's
$3.
nice.
And I went through that entire place one time, and that's where I found the George Carlin. I found one from an old sci-fi movie. I think it's Space Odyssey, and
Okay.
I found some other stuff.
Well, it's also exhausting because if you've grown up through generations, you're grown up from the generation that started with vinyl. And then it's like if you had 8-track, but then it was like you're searching for cassettes. And just as like you're a kid, like for me, I'm a kid, I'm starting to get a little bit of pocket change. I'm able to afford cassettes. CDs come out. And that was a big problem when I was a kid because I had a fucking cassette player. The only good thing that came out with that was because I couldn't afford a CD player, the cassettes started to get cheaper, which was nice. That it was like, well, CD is the new tech, so anything released on cassette instead of 16 was like $8. But then it becomes like I remember getting my first CD player. My brother had all these CDs, my dad had a bunch of CDs, and I didn't have like we used to go to Michigan all the time, and that was a 6.5 hour drive to get there. And I didn't have my own personal anything. Like I didn't even have a cassette player at this point. We go to Michigan. I had birthday money. I remember buying my very first Discman. It was an open box. It was an open box one. Came with the little fuzzy headsets and everything.
Was it an anti-skip?
Yes, it had to be. Still skipped like a motherfucker though.
They did, but they did their best.
And yeah, I got it for like $50. And I remember on the car ride home, I'm just taking every one of Tim's CDs, and that started my unhealthy obsession with buying physical media. I mean, I used to go to Rolling Stone. You guys ever go to Rolling Stone Records in Norwich?
Yeah.
Remember they used to have that bin, and the bin was just full of shit that they used to demo. So you would get a CD that was like $13 brand new, but because you got a demo kit or demo one, which was the CD, it was just they played it $3. And I would just go in and clean house on everything new. Led Zeppelin on vinyl is an experience. I'd imagine Led Zeppelin on vinyl sounds pretty good. I'd also imagine
I do have one of those. Yeah,
you need to get an original and not a reissue on those type things too.
I have a double album of an original Led Zeppelin that I found over there.
Well, we have a Beatles one too. I always want to get more Beatles, but Beatles vinyls are fucking expensive.
If you like to sell shit, finding one with a good cover and everything, that's the way to go. But I find shit that has fucked up covers, and I buy it. It's cheap, and as long as the record's still good, scratches.
It's cool that they're doing reissues, so at least people can experience it. But it's also one of those things of like a reissue of a Beatles album is $40 fucking.
Oh, I also have a Beatles original and a Monkeys that my mom used to have, and I got.
Don't you know the Monkeys didn't even play their own instruments, loser?
2 of them did.
Was it Davey? What was the dark-haired one?
Mickey and Torque.
Yeah, that survived. Out-survived most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey Dolenz the last one.
But they were just a TV band, though. They were just basically like the Beatles are popular. You're a band that's a TV show.
They got together as they wanted. Them themselves wanted to be a band, but they kept putting them as a TV show, so they just fucking started becoming partiers.
That's what it was. You're making easy money. I've been chasing Jimi Hendrix original for a while. Which album?
I saw a Frank Zappa album in a record store one day for $400, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
We do have a Zappa album, but
I have one.
It's an original we got from a record store. It's in our collection. I don't remember which one it was though.
I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show album and Little Shop of Horrors album.
Okay. Those are both good. Yeah, those would be both cool to have. Did you guys see that Killer Clowns from Outer Space game?
Yeah.
Yes, it looks good,
already, didn't it?
Is it out?
Yeah,
I think it's out already.
It looks good.
He's looking for experience.
Yeah, he's looking for the Jimi Hendrix experience. Okay. Jimi Hendrix is an interesting guy simply because he's the reason why his entire backing band was English was because he was in England trying to perform because nobody gave a fuck about him in the States. And so when he started to gain any sort of popularity, he brought guys from England with him that were his backing band because he knew and trusted them.
Yeah, that's good. Smart.
I know that's just useless knowledge. Like you can't do anything with that. And I hate the fact that I'm the king of that shit of where it's just like, here's a factoid that unless you're ever maybe on Jeopardy or some shitty game show, you're never going to need this knowledge. But here you go. And then I just vomited on you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And with that said, we are here to review a movie, believe it or not. This movie is called Dune 2. It is about Dave Bautista only screaming. That's literally his only role in this movie is to scream.
Kind of being a bitch, actually, throughout the movie.
Little fucking bitch.
Okay, so I'm going to start with, was I the only one that felt like because they tried to cram too much stuff into this one, it felt a little disjointed?
No, you know what? And I'm glad you bring that up. Not only that, I feel the first Dune movie doesn't do this, but this one jumps time and doesn't hold your hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like the next scene, like if you're not paying attention to what the fuck's going on, you're gonna be like, what did I miss?
And the worst part and where it
Yeah.
shows the most is within his and her relationship too.
Oh,
Because it basically goes from she's like, "You're a fucking outsider, dick," to like they're sharing a tent and she's waking him up sweetly from a nightmare. And that's in a matter of about 10 minutes of movie.
Yeah.
and it makes it look like it's overnight when they've been out there for months.
Yeah.
Months.
I will say, I do appreciate how much more action was in this one.
Yes.
The first one, while good, and I did appreciate the atmosphere and everything like that, it was severely lacking in action. And I will say, this one does a really good job of doing these action set pieces.
The one thing I liked as far as action goes was when they were all hiding in the sand.
Yeah.
And they
That
pop
was a
up.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking awesome scene. I was like,
Well,
holy
that-
shit.
Well, then, like when the gunships with the and it's just fucking firing everywhere, and then they hit one with a rocket finally, and he's like sprinting in the background. You see this thing crash down, just this ball of fire. Am I the only one as well, though, that every time I saw one of them riding the sandworm, I thought it would have been funny if like it's the main kid, it's Timothy Chalamet. He looks over and it zooms in, it's in Zendaya, and it zooms over here and it's Josh Brolin, then it zooms over here again and it's Beetlejuice. It's like, like, that shit would have been great. Like, hey guys,
Sandworms.
I'm here too. Dune 2, 8.4 out of 10. Fair enough.
That's what Rusty says. Okay.
Yeah, Dune 2. So Dune, I forgive Dune 1 for its slowness because it had to set it up for a lot of people who weren't fans of the movie or never heard of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. And I think it did a good job.
Oh, is this movie a
And
ripoff of Star Wars? Or
Oh, dude, I hate that. But when you're watching Dune 1, if you're patient enough to give it time to get through it, it's a good movie. But when you get to 2, a switch is flipped. Like, man.
Yeah, Dune 1 is almost like we're going to make this as long as the first book, and it's going to feel like it. And then Dune 2 is like, we're cramming so much shit into here, we really don't have time to explain anything, so you kind of just have to fucking go with it.
Dune 2 was like, we already fucking stuck him with the fucking explosives for Crank, so this is what this is where it's going to start, and we're fucking just thrown in there.
I was very happy to see Josh Brolin. When he appears, I was like, it's Josh Brolin. He's alive.
When I saw the Emperor, I was like, we need more cowbell. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, walking. I didn't even realize he was apparently also the dude. I can't remember his name. Blaine Nelson something. He was the shorter guy in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Okay.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
Apparently his scenes were cut. I guess he had a whole bunch of shit he had filmed for Dune 2, and all of his shit was cut.
Damn.
So he already filmed it?
Yeah, I guess they were filmed scenes and everything that just didn't make the final cut.
That's weird, man.
I mean, there was a lot of shit they crammed into that movie. Like, there's a lot of not only is it lore, but it's just shit that happens in the story. Like, it goes like, it starts off with like, I'm your pregnant mother, to the next thing you know, she's a fucking super witch, and he's drinking blue juice and turns him into a god. Do you guys remember the name of the book? I can't remember the name at all. Where there is a chosen pupil out of every generation to take all of the memories and the history, and the old man teaches him through, it's not, I guess it's kind of sci-fi-ish, but the whole thing is I think it's a one-word title too. Dune 1 was a nice joint. Dune 2 was meth with a coke chaser. Delicious. I can't remember the name of the fucking book. I want to say like The Librarian or something, but that doesn't make any sense. But the whole story was this kid gets chosen, and he studies with the old man that is the current beholder of all the memories. And this movie gave me a lot of those sorts of vibes, and I still can't. It might be a Ray Bradbury book on top of it. Let me look. Talks amongst yourselves.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Oh no, not that
No, Nicolas Cage has nothing to do with this one.
one. I thought Skarsgård did a great job too as the fucking the Baron,
The Giver.
the Giver.
Okay, yeah.
There was a little bit of The Giver vibes in this for me, as far as how he basically just takes up the mantle of this god, you know? Where it's basically like, yeah, I'm not him anymore, I'm the god. And it's like, okay,
Well,
this is a little the Giverish.
The part that kind of threw me for a loop was throughout the movie, he's like, I don't want to be this person to go. I see visions of this ending badly. I don't want to do what my mother wants me to do, because she clearly wants him to be like, hey, when you need to drink this liquid, you need to be part of our, and she's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But then when they're on their way to the south, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fucking do this. Like,
yeah. The
what?
whole, for half of the movie, it's like, you know why I can't go south. And it's like, okay. And then the second half of the movie, he's like, not only am I going south, but I'm becoming this angry god now. Like, he just like flips the script completely to like this character that just doesn't want any part of it, to like, he not only accepts it, but then by the end of the movie, he's screaming at people as the god. It's like, what the fuck just happened to this character? He's gone schizo. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I do still stand by the fact, though, that in our modern time, I'm pretty happy that we got such a large sci-fi movie.
It is an epic. It really is.
It is, and I feel like sci-fi doesn't get enough love, or the good sci-fi movies kind of go underground. You know what I mean? Like they don't do very
what was
well
that
in
one that we
theaters.
watched that was on Netflix that was a really good sci-fi movie? We reviewed it, but it wasn't
with the robot girl?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what is it called? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was another one.
That was another one that
Megan?
went under the radar.
The Creator.
The Creator,
Oh,
yeah.
the
Creator, yeah, that was a streaming only
good
movie
one.
that was honestly really fucking good as far as like the terms of a sci-fi movie go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one that hit like they played it safe. All the tropes were hit. They stayed within the boundaries, but they did it really well. So
True story. Josh Brolin's son and I are super close. That's cool. You guys like texting buddies, Eskimo brothers. Which one is it?
I'm just saying blowing house amongst friends doesn't make you gay. Just it's cool.
Circle jerk though. You might have to start.
And how did you meet Brolin's son? Where is Brolin from anyway?
I think he's California, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been acting for such a long time. You'd imagine his home base has been California for quite some time.
Did he do anything before Goonies, or was that his beginning?
I feel like he was one of those kids that did do some other form of childhood acting. Like before Goonies. Like a lot of those kids did commercials and shit.
I was
Oh,
saying
yeah.
if you follow the typical trope, it's either a TV show or commercial, and then into
Yeah,
movies.
like even Steve Carell did commercials for a fucking fast food place. It was like a Brown's Chicken or one of them.
Nice.
Even he's there. Also, Brolin's got a show called Outer Range on one of the networks. It's in its second season now. It's supposed to be like a Western sci-fi. It
Really?
actually looks
Okay.
kind of neat. I caught my eye last season when it was on, and I never got a chance to actually watch it. But it
Oh,
does look pretty
shit.
interesting. That's okay. Dave Bautista, I'm very close to his pit bulls, so we like to go on walks together, and sometimes we eat some good old fashioned ham together. Just like
I'm very close to Batista because he's part Filipino and my wife is Filipino.
oh, well, I mean, you've got the closest of all connections. You're
That connection, man.
Yeah. No, he. I'm sorry, he's a bad actor. Like he got really
Yeah.
lucky. He got really lucky with Drax because it suited his acting style. But this is yet another movie where his main device of any communication is, it's just like it's the same shit from him every fucking time.
I think I can forgive his acting in this one a little bit, only because he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't have as many lines. You know what I mean? Like he's
And
not doing a lot of talking.
And the role he is
And he's
supposed to
getting his
be, is
ass
supposed to be the role he's supposed to be is a piece of
But
shit.
even like
Yeah.
but his character decisions don't make any sense. Like when he's in the helicopter and they can't find him, so he kills the one pilot.
Mm.
Like his
Yeah, that
whole
was weird. That
his
was
whole
really
scene
weird.
is he screams at him. they don't immediately find anybody, and he breaks the pilot's neck, and he's like, "Ah!" It's the you remember in UHF when Weird Al did the Rambo skit, and it's literally him just and he's just blowing shit up. That's what Batista was doing in this fucking movie, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Every
and
time
then-
he yells, I picture him in WWE when he was sitting in the wheelchair with the neck brace and everything. Oh, he
Ugh.
quit. He's quitting.
And then you've got bald-headed Elvis, which it's a weird movie how they do this, because they introduced this quote-unquote badass new of the Hodikins. He
Mhm.
comes in, he wipes out people, he shows how violent he is by
Arconians.
cutting somebody's throat, telling them how it's not sharp enough. And by the end of the movie, they're all wiped out.
Yep.
I didn't see that coming, as far as basically these big baddies that we've been dealing with from number one. Then we get to number two, and Willy Wonka just comes in and destroys everybody.
Yeah, and it happens. I mean, I thought that fight was cool, but it happened so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess they're paying homage to the fact that, the Sand people have been there longer than them. They know the way of the sand. They know the life. They know all the tricks of the trade. I get that. But this whole race of people was hired by the Emperor to be his force. His frontline people, because they get shit done. So it's weird to see him be wiped out so quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they have to, because like we were talking about, they crammed so much shit into this one that you got to remember, for number 3 is coming the real battle, the invasion.
Yep.
So they had to basically, and I think that's another reason why this movie had so much action, is because they were like, fuck, we have so much to do. We've got to deal with the Hodikins and everybody that's running this fucking side of the planet. And then we got to deal with the invasion. So number 3, I think, is going to be like, the end game sort of invasion movie where it's all out war and death, but you don't have Batista screaming anymore.
Yeah.
So
But,
keep in mind, this is 3 movies. If you watch the original, it happens in one
One.
movie.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. And Sting was half naked for most of it.
Yeah. Didn't he also have like a blade that came out of his shirt or something, like his stomach, when he was fighting? Like a blade, like it came
No,
out like that?
I thought it was tied behind his sash. Didn't he have that like belt-like sash around his waist?
Oh, I can't
It's
remember.
been so
Was that
long
Jack
since I
Nicholson?
watched the original.
I know there was something that happened where he was fighting and then like a blade came out and he pulled him into him, and that's how he killed one person.
Let's see.
It's a wild ride either way. Chat, if you ever get a chance, watch the original Dune. You'll end the movie like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I don't know where his knife comes out. I just know that he's basically wearing throughout the movie a fucking Speedo that's blue. Ugh. Why this is what we thought was cool in the fucking 80s?
It would have been nice to have a cameo from Sting. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, if Kyle MacLachlan's still alive, I'm sure Sting is. And we all know Kyle MacLachlan's still alive, because the last time we saw him was Fallout TV show.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was a dad.
Yeah, he's only in like a total of maybe 25 fucking minutes, but he's in it.
I'm sure. No, he'll be back.
Yeah, he's going to be.
I'm sure
Although
he'll
I
be
think
back.
his role is going to be, he's going to fly out. He's going to go try to meet up with his overlords, and they're going to kill him right away. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the show took it that way, where he gets there, and they're basically like, "You led him to us," and they kill him. But who knows? I'm looking forward to season 2 on that one. I actually really enjoyed the Fallout TV show.
Didn't they get signed for like season 2 and 3 or something like that?
I know season
Yeah, I
2
believe
is
it was
being
2
greenlit.
seasons. I thought it was 2 seasons ahead that they got greenlit for.
That'd be nice.
I went back and I watched Blade, and boy, does that movie still fucking, it's just still so awesome.
Dude, the original, the first Blade?
Yeah.
Does it still
Actually,
slap?
I like all 3
Still
of them,
slaps.
to be honest
Slaps
with you.
those beans. I don't like number 3. I tried to give it another shot, and I watched it not too long ago. And that movie is bad for several reasons. One of the worst is Wesley Snipes refusing to open his eyes. So they had to CGI his eyes open in the one scene. And then
Not only that, the guy who
Dracula's
plays
terrible.
Dracula, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dominic Purcell, like everybody loved him in Prison Break, and then any movie he was in after Prison Break, you were like, oh, he's actually awful. What the fuck is going on
He's
here?
terrible.
He's Miley Cyrus's stepdad now.
What?
Yeah, he married Miley's fucking mom.
I wouldn't even understand marrying Miley Cyrus, let alone her fucking mother, dude. Like, it's like basically marrying a crack pipe. Why would you want to deal with that?
That whole family.
Fuck, right? Like, then you gotta deal with Billy Ray Cyrus singing fucking Achy Breaky Heart at Thanksgiving dinner. I don't fucking need that. I just want to sing this song for the cranberry sauce. It's like, shut up, Billy. Nobody cares.
I need some cranberry sauce right here.
Yeah, don't tell my. No, did you get the goddamn cranberry sauce? I'm interrupting my song here.
I want the canned shit. I don't want none of that fresh stuff.
Yeah. Billy Ray Cyrus is alcoholic AJ Styles. He's Wish AJ Styles. God, I remember my mom loved that song. If it's one of those things where you always hear those like stories of those kids that just snap and beat their families to death with a hammer. I think I was a couple more times from hearing Achy Breaky Heart for being a fucking news story. She's just fucking, she would clean and she'd put her fucking Billy Ray Cyrus CD in and just blast it.
You know the amount of horror movies you've seen, you could have did the whole Sinister thing.
Well, I could have figured something out. Tell you that much. You know we had steep back stairs? Oh, she went to the bed. Oh, she fell. Oh, no, she fell on a couple spikes. It could happen. We had spikes.
There was a bike down at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. The grand piano we keep at the top of the stairs fell on her. Oh, no.
There was a bike at the bottom. Sir, why was the bike covered in glued knives? And I bought it like that.
Wasn't my bike. It was there when I got the house.
I don't know what happened to her, officer, but it sure did sound like somebody pushed a tool chest down the stairs after her. Just start home aloneing her. She walks in her own house, gets hit in the face with a can of paint. Don't play that fucking song.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more? Oh wait, that's the other movie. The Home Alone movie.
That's what we were talking about. That was we were joking about Home Alone.
I know, but that's what I said. You guys give up, you're thirsty for more. Do you see that they're selling the house again?
I did. Have you ever been to the house?
No, I have not.
So when you're a kid,
fucking basketball court in there.
Yeah, but when you watch that movie, you watch it and you're like, this house is huge. Like, this is a giant house. And then you pull up to it and it's big, but when you're an adult, it's like, oh, it's a McMansion. It's not like when you're a kid and you see it, you're like, this house, like if I had a house like this, there's so many rooms. And then in real life, it's like, oh, it's a rich person's house. But I came to watch this podcast only for the guy that we all have beards. We should have just named ourselves the Bearded Podcast.
The Three Beards. That would get a whole different audience coming in though.
Yeah, no. And we're all married too. Gotta call ourselves Three Bears. Fucking, I thought this podcast was about something else. No, it's about movies. I guess.
The Three Bears in a movie.
There you go.
3 bears, no cups.
Yeah, we can then label ourselves LGBTQ community. We'll get those hits.
No cups.
Ew. We actually had tossed around titles like that when we first started this. Just stupid, like, because we had Lewis too, so it was like 3 guys in 1 cup. Like we did toss around every inappropriate fucking name you could think of before naming this thing. And it came down to us just being like, what the fuck do we call this? And Lewis and Alex were like, just call it the Nerd 2 Movie Podcast. I was like, all right, I guess. But yeah, we had tossed around some goofy ass fucking names before we started this thing. Giovanni's camera angle is better tonight. It's at least
now I'm looking at the Lord.
Yes, yeah.
And it's funny though when you look up, it's got halos on your glasses. Little halos
if Giovanni starts speaking,
those are his nipples. That's why there's 2 of them.
If he starts speaking in snakes, he has to change the camera angle. With Dune 2, it's a weird one because the action movie guy in me thought better than Doom 1 because of the amount of action. Yeah. Although I got to be honest with you, the movie itself is definitely more disjointed than the first one. It's definitely, and it's only because of the pace they forced the movie to be in. Just like everything else, like, he figures out he can ride a sandworm, and everybody's like, it's the prophecy. And then all of a sudden, everybody's riding a sandworm.
Because you got a big sandworm.
Well, the weird thing is the group of people who believe in the prophecy are like, oh yeah, he's the one. And then, but he's even like, no, I'm not. Prophecy's dumb. And I'm like, that's rough to hear. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, Javier Bardem, every time he sees him, he's like, my boy. And he's always talking about the prophecy. And every time Willy Wonka's just like, fuck you, guy. I ain't your messiah. And he's just like, well, this is written. He's just so sad the whole fucking movie. He's a good Bond villain, though.
It's also weird because, like,
Also
so Charlemagne's character, you got the people who believe in him, and he's like, no, I'm not about that religion.
Yeah.
But then the people who also hate the religion and the same group are like, fuck you and that religion. He's like, but I'm not about that religion. Well, fuck you anyway.
But,
like, I'm
but,
like,
but then the second half, like, he literally, after he drinks the snake juice, he goes from, like, I'm not about this religion shit to bow down to me. Like, it's such a weird dynamic shift where he goes from just like, I don't want any part of this man to like, I am God. It's just such a weird shift at the last act of the movie.
He did also have all the women intrigued in him before he drank the fucking.
So like when he's drinking that, I know it's putting, it's doing what it did to the mother. It's the minds of people in him. But again, the movie does not hold your hand. And if you like blink or blow your nose or take a sip and that shit happens, you're like, what the fuck did I miss?
Yeah, it's almost like watching a movie with subtitles, even though it's in English. Like if you look away. But then there's a scene where like after he becomes the god, he goes up to walk and he's like, I'm going to take your daughter as my bitch. And it's just like, what the fuck? And then poor Zendaya's over here like, I guess I'll just...
Wait a minute. I just saved your life. Basically, she did, though.
Yeah, I'll just be a desert warrior, I guess, for your disposal then instead of your lover. And it's just like... And then he's like, I'm sorry, I had to. And it's like, you didn't have to... You just took him over. You didn't have to take her as your... That's your goddamn cousin! Like, they're all fucking related. Like, enough.
Weird.
Why does every story like this have incest in it?
Like, isn't that what the whole ruling, like the whole king and queens and shit?
Well, exactly, but even sci-fi movies can't get away from incest when it comes into kingdoms and shit.
So when I'm gonna bring this back to Game of Thrones. When I was watching Game of Thrones with my wife, she's like, "Man, there's a lot of sex in this." I was like, "Well, they didn't have Netflix back then."
Yeah.
And she looked at me, she's like, "Okay."
No
but
radio,
then
no TV.
You come to the future and it's the same response, but you can't use the same answer. Like,
it's just like that's the thing is like in the medieval times, you know, what was there else to do besides drink and fucking survive? Okay,
yeah,
I can kind of get that. This is what 6,000 years after this, like 7,000 something or whatever was the year this movie set in, and still it's like we're intense fucking. Like, at what point does humans evolve to like? And it's the same thing that like I was watching. We were playing The Walking Dead, and it's like we're in the apocalypse and characters are still fucking each other. Like, how is that a priority? Like,
it takes their mind off of the apocalypse for 7 seconds.
And then just like in the game, it gets people killed.
Yep.
You know what? You know what you can do at the same time as guarding a post? Crank one out. You just need one hand for that. And everybody's safe because you got the gun in this hand and the dick meat in this hand. Everybody's fucking safe.
But your trigger hand is the same hand, though.
Ah, I'm a lefty, buddy. Southpaw.
Whittle a fucking chair or
you shoot with your left? You're left-handed?
No, I shoot with my right. Do the other thing with the left. That was the joke. No, I am a righty, and I do fire with my... I am not ambidextrous, but I did get better using my left hand when I couldn't use my right arm. So my skills in my left arm are better than they used to be, for sure.
At least in wiping the backside, you got better.
A lot of things. Eating. You never know how much you value your fucking arm until you can't use it anymore.
Jen said this conversation took a wild turn.
Don't they always, though?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. All right, I feel like that's more or less the status quo here. If it's not taking a wild turn into random rants or video game talk, it's masturbating in the apocalypse. And we talk about everything
and wiping the backside.
But it's true. Like that was you, buddy. Alex wipes front to back. Did it?
You ever see that video of the balloon? No, that's how I do it.
I've never even seen that video, and I'm disgusted.
There was like they teach it in China. They teach like the kids in school, like they put 2 balloons and they teach them how to wipe their ass. And they fold it and they wipe. And I was like, oh, God, no. It's weird.
One day, if I was rich, I would build a house and I would have toilet paper in every bathroom, but every bathroom would also have 3 seashells just to confuse people.
That'd be awesome.
And the toilet paper's a little further away from the 3 seashells, so you have to figure out which one you want to do.
No. I'm going to let people wipe their ass. But I want people sitting there going, because it's always uncomfortable to shit in somebody else's house, for one thing. Have you ever been on a family party where they're feeding you fucking food and beer and shit, and you're, oh god damn, I 3 chili dogs in, I gotta take a shit. It's never comfortable to go in somebody else's house. So I'd like to think if somebody's in my big ass stupid house, they sit down
Especially
and
when you go to a
sit
house
down.
that doesn't have a fan.
Oh god, like her family in Indiana's like the bath. It was this little tiny you know, I'm a big fat ass. This little tiny bathroom, and I'm already cramped in there. There's one little window to my side that I'm kind of propping open, and I'm Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber. I've literally got the hand towel. I'm fucking trying to wipe it out the window.
Was one leg
Yeah,
inside
it's
the
awful.
tub as well?
No, there was no tub.
Small?
No
Oh.
tub. That's the thing, is the bathroom's right up against the wall. And I think it was like their kids' bathroom, or the one they use primarily. And I'm not gonna. That's the other thing. If you have a bathroom downstairs in your house, I'm not going up into your bedroom to use your bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's not cool for me. So I'm gonna use the one that's local and close, which just so happens to be it's just a sink, and it might as well be a prison toilet, except there's potpourri around. But there's nothing more awkward than that. So if you're sitting in my bathroom and you got a stack of Mad magazines over here, all the toilet paper you can eat, but then you look over. The fuck is that? You know, there's 3 seashells. And here's how I know if you're an actual friend or not. If you're a friend, you come up to me, you go, you got the fucking 3 seashells in your fucking house, dude? And I'm like, mm-hmm. If you're not a friend, you go, hey, what's up with the 3 seashells? If you have no reference, then I gotta look at you and give you some fucking homework. You can't step back into my house until you learn what the fucking 3. You ain't gotta know how to use them. You just gotta know what they are. Okay, you're gonna understand my nerdy references. Goddammit, this is my house.
I don't even know how to use them. I just want you to know that
You can't use them. That's the whole thing. None of us can, but they're funny. I was disappointed by the Baron's nephew. The whole introduction to him, the battle scene with the 2 drugged guys and then the one undrugged.
Yeah.
His whole relationship with the Baron was really stupid and weird. It is also really weird when you see at the end how they actually deal with the Baron. It was, you know, because number one, the Baron was this gelatinous, violent, you know, main boss
who somehow floated.
Yeah, and then you see him in this one, and by the end, he gets his head taken off by his own people. And Batista dies by his brother's hand, right?
No.
Or does he die in battle?
The one guy comes back, and he's like, he calls him out.
Brolin.
Brolin,
He's
yeah,
just trying to get away from him.
Yeah, well, then there's
Which
that scene.
I love that he got his revenge.
That scene early on where it's Batista and they're in the sandstorm and they're like, find them! And then out of nowhere, the sand people climb out of the sand, and next thing you know, it's run! And all these fucking soldiers. Yeah. Like, what is going on with this faction? They're like, they go
to higher ground.
Now.
They start flying up and shit.
Yeah. By the way, that was the one thing that looked really weird in this movie.
It looked very fake.
The flight, gravity system they use. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Like the ships were cool, the shields were cool, the explosions, the gunfire from it, all cool, but especially that scene where they float up and it's just like you could tell it's just they had like cranes lifting them, but the actors didn't know how to use their bodies when that happened.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the actors, they were like, just be still as possible, and it's like, I'm not used to my body floating. You know, it was just a weird. They looked weird, and it wasn't. I don't think it was because of CG necessarily.
Brolin's character gets out of the sand machine and does it going down, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There was some questionable CG designs in this movie too.
Yeah.
Now, it's with that said, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just one of those things of like,
it wasn't as bad as Marvel's decisions, right?
Well, no, but it's just one of the things of like, I can understand if a fan of the first book and movie watched this and went, this is way too much bullshit in one movie. And the amount of action in this one movie has kind of lost the structure of the first movie and lost the structure of this. Because, the first one is a big sci-fi epic full of drama and deceit and betrayal. And this one is much more of a space type action movie full of just kind of weird, fast-paced storyline developments that are never fully explained, a lot of them.
To be honest with you, though, I feel like if they split this movie up and they gave us another long drawn drama before we got to the action, I think people would have lost it.
Yeah, it's possible, but now does this mean that number 3 has to keep up the pace?
Now number 3 is going to have more action.
Number 3 has to have a big battle. They have
to. Like that. That's the concern. Is you made this one more action heavy. Then number 3 really does need to be like. I guess you could say this is Two Towers, right? But number 3 then now has to be Return of the King. Like it has to be. Otherwise, you're going to let the fan base completely down.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was episode 1 of Star Wars, if you will, with the greatest battle in Jedi history in it.
I actually saw somebody redid the in CG. They redid the original Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight, where Obi-Wan actually fights like Obi-Wan should have fought, and they did a really cool battle. I don't know if you guys watched it, but there's this thing out there called Logan the Wolf, and it's supposed to be if Wolverine / Logan was in the medieval times.
Okay.
And
cool.
It's really well choreographed, really violent. It's like 11 minutes long, and it's basically he shows up and there's these raiders, and they're like, "We've been looking for you, Wolf." And he's fighting a bunch of them, and they fuck him up pretty good. And then he doesn't have his claws or anything out yet, and he gets up, and you see his forehead slowly start to heal, and then you see his claws come out, and then he just rips them to pieces. And then at the end, this other guy shows up, and he's talking to him like, "I'm different, just like you." And by the end of it, Wolverine's like, "Get out of here, I'm going to fucking kill you." And he goes, "Well, let's see." And he puts on the Magneto helmet, which this one is like a Spartan kind of designed, etched medieval Skyrim helmet. Awesome. It's a really cool fan short. It's definitely a different spin on it. Like I said, I cannot wait for Deadpool. It's going to be the first movie I've seen in theaters in years. I can't remember the last movie I genuinely can't remember the last time I've been inside of a movie theater. It has been literal years. Even probably a year or so before COVID even.
Yeah, same for me. I stopped going before COVID. So it's going about 5 or 6 years for me.
Yeah, so I do really want to see it though.
Are you excited also about Dune Prophecy that's coming out in fall?
Is that survival game?
It's a TV. It's a TV show that's coming out on Max.
That's right.
And it's supposed to be a part of this movie.
I haven't even heard about it. I'm always weary of movies that get TV show spin-offs though.
Yeah, this has a spin-off coming out that's going to be a part of it. It might be before the next movie. So you're going to have to watch the TV show to get a little caught up.
I don't think they'll do that though.
I don't know. It's coming this fall. They've already got it. I guess they have the stuff filmed, or they're filming now.
My concern with stuff like that is when you look at how bad the John Wick spinoff show was. Like, no matter what you do...
I still haven't watched it. I haven't watched it
either. I've heard very bad things. Like, I've heard basically there's nothing of the John Wick soul in the movie.
I've gotten through half of it. Yeah, it's the name. That's what they use. They use the name in the hotel. That's really about it.
Yeah, I'm always weary of that shit, especially if it's true where it's like you're gonna have to watch Prophecies to be fully cued in. You would imagine though, being called Dune Prophecies, wouldn't that be? I'd imagine that'd be a separate thing that discusses the lore more than anything. No,
man, maybe it'll
be
the
lore or like a prequel. You know what I mean? Like to the whole thing.
I thought Alex was talking about that new video game they got coming out.
No.
Yeah, the Dune, the Spice Dune. It's made from the creators of Conan Exiles. I love Conan Exiles, so I'm excited for the Dune game.
I'm not the biggest fan of those types of games, but I will
survival builder.
I will be straight up. The footage I have seen looks pretty solid. It does look pretty cool.
It looks great. You can fly the ships. You got to modify your suit so you can survive in the heat.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Oh, for Dune or for Exiles?
For Dune. For Dune.
They're definitely putting.
I hate fucking Exiles.
Yeah, they're definitely.
I love Exiles.
They're putting in a lot of fan service into this game. Okay, so the storyline of Prophecies, 10,000 years before Paul Atreides joined the Freemen to lead an uprising on the Arrakis to take down House Harkonnen, two sisters, Valia and Tola, create the mysterious all-female order called the Bene Gesserit. In Dune Prophecy, the symbol. So it's about two different characters 1,000 years before the movie, or this story at least.
Okay.
So then that's gonna. My problem with that is if that's not an exceptional product, then I don't need to. My problem with that is if that's not an exceptional product, then I don't need to watch it, and I won't.
So a quick pause since we're talking about TV shows. Shogun season 2
And 3, I hear.
and 3 has been approved. And we are going beyond the books now. The book is done.
I told you they weren't just going to let that hot of a property fucking sit there.
Yeah. And the fact that the directors and the writers of the show were so concerned, I think season 2 and 3 will do a good job. I think they have enough respect to not let the show.
Well, I guess the question becomes: are they going to dip into the idea where the British guy ends up becoming that samurai that Tom Cruise was, and their take on it, and all that sort of shit? You got to imagine they'll be going into that direction too. That is, unless, I mean, we know that whatchamacallit, Tucker, fuck, I can't remember his last name at this point. The main guy, we know that he's in it.
Oh yeah,
his casting has already been known, so you can imagine you'll be dealing with a decent amount of the same players. But I don't know if I could watch without Mariko. My poor sweet Mariko.
I know it's weird that she's gone. It's really weird that she's gone.
If you're missing Shogun, I cannot more highly recommend playing some Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good.
It is. It's a good PC port.
On the topic of TV shows, they're saying that Umbrella Academy is actually going. It seems like it's reverting back to the way of the first and second season.
She's going to be a woman again?
Not that way.
Oh.
But they're talking about as far as like how the storyline went and how the story, like how
season 3 was a little weird.
So they're saying that the finishing season should be actually really good. We'll see.
Jen and I love that show. We were.
I do too.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, you are asking a lot of people to be like, "Hey, my entire career, I played a female, including a female who gets pregnant in a movie, and da 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 da, and this, and then they go, but now I'm a man, and you have to address me as that, and anything other than that is going to be met with anger because this is how I identify now." You're asking a lot of people, and whether they see it that way or not, I'm sorry, it just kind of is what it is. Like, you are disrupting the flow of the natural
I could tell
movement.
And this is what I'm going to say.
The 80s?
What's that?
I was going to say, if this was the 80s, they would have just said, all right, we fired you and we're going to recast you.
Not even that. Yeah. You want to be a man? You went through your change? That's fine. You're an actor. The role you play is a woman, so act like a fucking woman. Yeah. Do your job. Be an actor.
Continue your role.
I mean, that is a fair point too. Like, what's to say? Like, what is more gender breaking in the industry, other than, oh, you're a man now, but you're still going to play a woman? Like, how is that oppressive? How is that not, if anything, progressive? Of like, we get it, but your character is
you're an actor.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think of movies like Flawless with De Niro and Philip Seymour Hoffman. We all know Philip Seymour Hoffman wasn't a flaming gay in real life, but he played the role really well. Like, Tom Cruise
Birdcage
wasn't. Birdcage is a great. The only one that was actually gay on that one was Nathan Fillion. Not Nathan Fillion.
Nathan
Lane.
God damn, what's his name? Nathan Lane.
Like, and that's the thing, is this push of like, if you're going to play a gay actor, you got to be gay. You be a straight acting character, you got to be straight. It's just getting so goofy to the point of like, it's enough. Like, as an audience member, I don't care what you identify as. Like, I'm not going to accept RoboCop as a tranny. They all might be. I don't even know what's going on.
Fabian said weirdos that we know of. They might all be. I don't know.
I do look forward to Umbrella Chronicles.
Hello, Fabian.
I did enjoy that. But it is just kind of funny of like, go play Beyond Human 2 Souls. Is that Elliot Page? It ain't Elliot Page. And nothing against people, but like, you're just asking for a lot of people. Like, be you. I don't give a fuck who you are. Be you. As long as it doesn't impact me, but like, don't impact me. Don't.
But you're also impacting the story. Like, you're an actor.
You committed to a role.
Pull your card now. Yeah. This is where you use your job, and you're playing a woman. You're telling me that they cast this character as a woman because in the comic books the character is a woman, and now because you had a sex change, you have to change the role of the character.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it's the studio's fault. It's the people who are making the show's fault going, oh no, it's okay, you're a man now, we're just going to completely rewrite the character, no problem.
Yeah, no.
And the
That's,
studio should have said, we understand that you have gone through a life choice, but the character you're contracted to play is a female, and your choices are leave the project or play the role that was written. Instead, it's no, we'll rewrite it for you, Elliot, no problem. And a big part of it's the coddling. Because here's the thing, nobody gives a shit. Nobody who watches this content, except for the psychopaths that only harbor on this, care about gender. It is what it is. Guys, your average guy doesn't give a fuck about gender. Leave him alone. He knows that there's men and there's women. Anything else doesn't need to be part of his periph. Why? Because it doesn't involve him. And that's why when you kind of force this shit on people, like, you know, can you imagine if the new fucking Beverly Hills Cop came out and Axel Foley's a tranny? Why? What would be the point?
Another good one was when they wanted to make the next Superman movie, they wanted to make Superman black. And people are like, well, there is a black Superman. Okay, so make the black Superman movie. Don't take Clark Kent, who's whiter than fucking rice, and tell me he's a black guy now. No, that's not how that works.
Well, that's
like,
the
that's
other
not
thing, too.
Clark Kent. Like,
that's the other thing, too, of like, by forcing the cultural appropriation, i.e., Superman needs to be black, that means you're not developing any new characters for actual black people.
Correct.
Like, rather than developing a character that's, you know, written as a black person with the black people's culture and terminology built into the character, you're going, no, we're going to take Michael B. Jordan and he's going to be Superman. And that's silly because you're not doing anything for black actors.
Nope.
No, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing. I hate to tell you guys this. Not every character needs to be a person of color. I hate to tell you, Superman's a white nerd. It is what it is. And if you don't accept that, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cast Tupac's role in a biography. We're going to cast Corey Feldman.
I think he'll do well.
And then we could talk about if it matters. We can have that discussion, but let's start going both ways with it. If we're going to have, you know, absurdity, let's go both ways with it. And I'm also out of the Alan Richardson business, the Reacher guy. The guy's a fucking idiot. Talking shit about cops and doing the normal, you know, right-wingers or Hitler type shit. He's a fucking idiot. You could tell he's been in the Hollywood machine for fucking 25 years.
Too long.
Yeah. Whatever corn, for one thing, he's just like The Rock. He's built by steroids. Whatever corn-fed fucking town he lived in is looking at him like this piece of shit. And it's like, once again, you're an actor. Shut up. You're not smart. Shut the fuck up. If you were smart, you'd have a job that required intelligence, but you don't. You have a job that has the equivalency of a monkey's intelligence. They tell you what to say, and you repeat it with your big dumb mouth. That's acting. So everything else, nobody gives a shit. You want to do stupid YouTube videos about your diet and how you inject steroids in your eyeball and you eat plenty of chicken, no problem. Do that. Shut the fuck up about politics and anything else. We don't care. We don't care of your opinion.
Chris Pratt's perfect for that.
Well, and that's the other thing is Chris Pratt what did he say that got him in hot water besides I believe in God?
Oh no, because of how he talked about his wife now versus his ex-wife and the child that they had.
That was just stupid people.
Yeah, and they read too much into it. He was saying that he's with his wife now. He's got a new life, and people were fucking.
Well, you know, God forbid a new father is happy his child is healthy and was born and everything went well, because I believe he had complications with one of his previous children.
Yeah.
So he's basically going, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm very lucky. God bless that I have a child that was born healthy. And they took that as, oh, he's really shitting on his old children and his ex-wife. Yeah. And it's like, here's the thing. Even if he is, who the fuck are you?
That's his life. That's his fucking
He could say
choice.
whatever he wants. Nobody knows what happened during that relationship. Mm-hmm. He could have been a piece of shit. She could have been a cunt. It is what it is. It's nobody's fucking business. And especially enough to attack a guy for simply being happy that his child was born healthy. That's insane.
And also when he was eating healthy, he was fucking like, oh, look what I got today. And he was doing like all those videos.
I actually found those videos
who fucking
funny.
Cares? Who fucking cares? Man?
I remember watching one.
He's just having fun.
I remember watching one. He's like, it's 1 a.m. and I'm starving. And he's like, you see this? And he opens up this little fucking thing and he's like, this is my snack for tomorrow. He's like, maybe I'll just Just take a little bite. And he takes a little bite and he's, I gotta put it. And the whole thing is in order to maintain abs at 45, you gotta starve yourself, which is what he was doing. You gotta remember, Chris Pratt's a fatty. He loves food. And he was just making a joke about it. He got hate for that. It's here's the thing. He believes in God. He's religious. Therefore, they hate him. That's what it is. And even James Gunn, when people attacked Pratt and said, the church he's with is full of hateful people and he's a hateful fearmonger. James Gunn tweeted out, I've been to the church that he goes to. I've met these people. Nothing what you're saying is true. And then he also said, if they were, this is when they were trying to get him fired. And Gunn's tweet was, Pratt's not going anywhere, and if he was, we'd all be going with him.
What are they saying about Arnold then? If I thought everybody loves Arnold.
I think they do.
And isn't he married to like Arnold's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's married to Catherine Schwarzenegger, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Arnold was another big womanizer in his day. That guy was a fucking puss magnet. All he did was fucking lift weights, work construction, and fuck. That was Arnie's trek through L.A. He had the gyms, and then he had the women around the gyms. Arnie was kind of a piece of shit back in his day too. We all know about the maid incident, which I always equate to Happy Gilmore, not Billy Madison, Mr. Deeds.
Okay.
I was there late at night writing in my journal, and it's like, hello, mister, and it's just like the fucking maid that doesn't speak English, and that's how the one servant, John Turturro, was born. And it very much emulates Schwarzenegger's like whole life. And then you see these unfair posts of like, this is what happens when you're raised by the father, and it shows his Spanish kid all jacked, and it showed when his other kid was fat, and it's like, actually, the fatter of the two was raised by the father way more than the Spanish kid. Like, Schwarzenegger was in the kid's life all the time, don't get me wrong, but the other son was raised by him. Like, let's be fucking real. Like, they were.
He just took advantage of the stardom. That's what happened.
I guess the kid got big and fat and then lost a bunch of weight. Like, he started to balloon up, and there's photos of him being big and fat, but I guess now he's lost all the weight, and it's like,
good for him.
Even Schwarzenegger talks about he looks in the mirror and wants to cry because, he looks like shit. And he's like, for the normal person, they've always looked like shit. He's like, so it doesn't matter to them. He's like, for me, I look and, look at what my body was and look what it is now. Like, nobody's going to get away from the aging.
I'm 60 years old. I took a dropkick to the back.
Even though I didn't agree with him politically at that point, he did take that kick with grace. Like, what the fuck? It was just very much.
It was like a fly fucking pushed him. He's like, what the fuck?
Somebody kicked me? What happened? And then I think the kid hurt himself more on the fall than anything.
I think when they picked him up and they beat the shit out of him on the way out, I think that's what happened.
Oh, those guards that you see, sir. Like, yeah. Even his security was like, did he just get drop kicked? Like, and then they immediately like tackled the kid because even they were like, did that just fucking happen? It was like all
shock and awe.
Did somebody seriously just drop kick this 70-year-old fucking Terminator? Are you kidding me? I am looking forward to the Terminator anime. I don't know when it releases though.
There's like fake photos out there of John Cena playing the new Terminator with Arnold.
John Cena a decade ago would have been great to take over Schwarzenegger remakes. At this point, I don't think so. At this point, he's looking too old. He's balding. And he's kind of cemented himself in as that stupid, goofy comedy character now.
But I also think he's also toning down on how much he's doing on his body. He's like he's just keeping himself toned. He's not fucking fair. Bulking.
He's in better shape than we'll ever be in, but he's definitely not. He's definitely not the John Cena. But he still could handle action roles. But like, what was the last action role Cena did besides Fast and the Furious that wasn't some goofy comedy as well? Like, the last flop he had before Vacation Friends 2 was Strike Force or Strike Down or something he did with Jackie Chan.
Oh, yeah, with Jackie Chan. I never even fucking finished that movie.
I did like the Ricky Stenicki movie with him and Zac Efron and Andrew Santino. And there was one, I think Anthony Mackie might have been the other one. I can't remember right. That one was on Hulu. That one wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed that. But no, he's been on a rough tangent of non-AAA, just kind of shit dirt movies. He's regressing definitely from where he was.
I had to stop watching that Nicky Snicky movie because the family kept coming into the room. And I was like, some of this shit is just like really inappropriate. I was like, I'll wait till later. and I
Well,
just
yeah, I
haven't
mean,
got back to it.
it's a raunchy comedy. I enjoy
It's very
Jenna watched it.
raunchy,
We
which I don't
enjoyed it.
mind raunchy comedies though.
Giovanni, Alex asked me the other day, and maybe the audience could help out with this one too, because I don't even have an answer. What movie would pair well with oh fuck, what is it called? Where they kill the hooker in the hotel.
Very Bad Things.
Very Bad Things. That's like an all-star. Yeah, I mean, everybody: Christian Slater, Daniel Stern,
Piven.
What would pair well with it? Because it's a very, very dark comedy. One of my thoughts was 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Cameron Diaz as well, isn't it?
3,000 Miles to Graceland would be a good one.
But I just don't know if I don't know of another
Dark comedy.
dark of because that one's a
You
really
can go
fucked
very
up movie.
old school with Heathers, but it's not as raunchy as Very Bad Things. Because Very Bad Things is raunchy and dark comedy.
Yeah,
It's got both of those.
fuck it, Natural
that's
Born
what
Killers.
makes it so hard. That it's a
Yeah.
combo of both. Usually those are by themselves, one or the other.
Yeah, because it gets really fucking dark too. Like there's a moment in that movie that just
I love Very Bad
shifts.
Things though, man. I love that movie.
So I'm saying I don't even know what would pair. I mean, if we'd have to, no matter what we paired it with, would have to be a dark movie.
Yeah.
Like even if it's the comedy element in it is light, it would have to be a dark film. No Country for Old Men.
That's a good movie, actually.
We have not reviewed that, and I don't know what we'd pair
No.
that one
I've
with.
never
either.
watched that whole movie. I've never watched the
It's
whole
a
thing.
really good
It's
movie.
not even that long. That whole movie is about the character performances, but somebody who's read the book as well, fucking movie is basically the book. Like the script is basically the book. It's kind of
Almost
crazy.
verbatim.
Well, Cormac McCarthy is one of my favorite authors. I wish they'd make a book for the Blood Meridian. That is a crazy, violent novel.
My favorite kill in that movie is the office scene. You're not going to kill me too, are you? I don't know. Do you see me? I love that scene.
Just that whole scene in the gas station. He's like, "Call it." And he's like, "What are we playing for? Play for everything." Well, I don't know. I don't know what that means. As he's just eating his little snack. Javier, but you got to give credit to Bardem in that movie. That he is one of the most sinister motherfuckers in any movie. Like, I feel like you could take him and Daniel Day-Lewis as the Butcher and have him do the celebrity deathmatch fight.
That would be a good one. That would be really good.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be an interesting concept for a horror movie where like the whole thing is kind of a cabin in the woods-ish where you've captured all of these entities and supernatural stuff and you pit them against each other in an arena? And then, of course, at some point in the movie, the prisoners break out and all hell goes to loose.
Yeah, they start teaming up again and everybody.
Yeah, it's basically
shit.
it's Cabin in the Woods meets 13 Ghosts. It meets
There goes the
fucking
planet.
Gladiator.
Yep.
Gladiator 2 is coming out. Or they're filming it right now.
How? I don't know how. I don't know how.
Oh, it's not Russell Crowe. I don't know exactly. I thought I had read a rumor Denzel was in it. I don't exactly know how.
It would have to be a whole new character. To tie it to the original would be like, how are you going to do that?
They would have to use
movie's
like a
so
child
good,
or whatever, like a child that grew up when it happened or something, came into power.
Well, if it's Denzel, you're going to have to imagine that it's one of the slave traded that fought his way either to freedom or is fighting his way to, it's. If you're
so it's
talking,
called Gladiator 2, but it's not Gladiator 2 connected. It's just
well, yeah.
the
I mean,
Gladiator.
you can't connect
Oh,
that to that
they're
story.
fucking what is it called? They're Assassin's Creeding it. Every story, just use the name. Every story is different.
Right.
I
Sure
imagine.
seems that way. Yeah. Are you mad about the Black Samurai in Assassin's Creed? Black.
No, I mean so the character they're basing it off of existed,
Yeah,
but there's
the
not
real
much
guy.
known about him.
Basically, he was
That's
known as a liaison protector for the
For Nobunaga.
Yeah. Which I can kind of understand it though. If you are like a fucking Japanese person, I mean, if you're a Japan person, if you're a Japanese person and you're like, dude, finally, an Assassin's Creed for our culture, and it's
And
like
then-
the cover
No, I get
character
it.
is a black dude, I can kind of understand being like, wait, what the fuck? Like we've been duped
I
here,
get it
guys.
absolutely. I get it. And then some people, I've seen some people like, oh, but the woman's an assassin in it. I was like, yes, but the woman can't be a samurai the whole concept is the samurai. Like,
Yep.
Wasn't there like an Assassin's Creed China that was a side scroller?
Yeah, that was one of those the three of them they made that all failed for
There
various
were the
reasons.
side scrolls and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have that new Prince of Persia roguelike game coming out. All right, you guys ready to review Dune 2? Guys, this is the same video from last week. I didn't make a new one. I apologize, but last episode I should say, but enjoy.
damn cat comes out.
It just started.
And we're back already. That's right. We are giving our reviews for Dune 2. I'll go first. I think it's a solid 8.5 with caveats of they squashed way too much shit into this one. And the only negative I have because of that is the pacing and time frame of the movie really does get lost in the mosh a little bit, to the point of, like, as Giovanni said, if you don't pay attention for a second, next thing you know, it's 3 months into the future and him and her have developed a full relationship. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
It literally happens that quickly. Literally.
Yeah, it goes from, like, her basically treating him like, nah, fuck you, these are my people, to like, oh, you had a bad nightmare, are you okay? And it's disjointed in that way. Other than that, though, I thought it was really well done. A couple minor weird CG things with, like, the floating guys with their backpacks. And of course I'm going to hate on Dave Bautista because he's a terrible actor. It is what it is on that front. But yeah, I think it's a solid 8.5.
Okay.
I'll go. I'm gonna give it a little lower. I'm gonna go 8. All the same reasons. And I do love Dune. I read the books. I saw the original movie. I love the first one. I love sci-fi, but it's hard to look past the cramming, and then the fact that if you're the part that concerns me is that if you're not paying attention, you don't know what's going on. That concerns me so much, because when a movie overdoes that concept,
Yeah.
you're going to lose a lot of the audience. And Dune, whether they believe it or not, is very big for sci-fi right now. Like, you don't see a lot of sci-fi movies, a lot of good big budget sci-fi movies. So when you put this movie out in theaters and people are watching it and blinking at the wrong time, will be like, what the fuck? I can't rewind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a problem.
It's also because a lot of people weren't really sci-fi fans at the time. And they got into it in the first one.
I will say
now they're like, what the fuck?
I will say there's a problem with any movie that's 2 hours and 45 minutes long, that if you get up to take a piss in the movie theater, you miss a lot.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes.
Like, movies need to have a certain phase in them that allow people to, okay, this is a good time for me to go take a piss. This is a good time for me to go get a refill.
On that note, The Right Stuff, remember that movie?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had an intermission. They said, hey, this is an intermission. Go fucking take a piss. Come back.
I think for these large movies, they should. I think if your movie is over 2.5 hours long, you really do owe it to your audience to go, hey,
45 minutes in or something like that.
Yeah, just take. We're gonna give you 5 minutes. Go get your refills on popcorn, soda. Use the washroom. I think that would be a very small step into bringing people back to the theaters, because people are, including myself, I'm spoiled about being at home.
And that it would make people feel like they're at home because they get a chance to fucking pause the movie and go do what they got to do.
The biggest issue I have with going to see Deadpool in theaters is I can't vape. I can't get up and pause it and get my own food. I can't, I'm locked in my seat unless I want to miss something.
You can vape as long as you sit way in the fucking back.
No, I'm part of the old school of vapors in theaters where I would do that, and then you look up and the projection light just has vape streaming in it. Yeah, it don't work that way. No, I will not take it easy on Drax. He's a shit heel actor. Drax is the only role that he's ever done well in, and he got lucky with it. He is a garbage actor. He's not good.
Yeah, he's not good as an actor.
So, he might be a great guy in real life. He's a shit actor.
So I'll go next because I'm the last person. It is an 8 point whatever, man. It's like an 8.5. I can't determine which one, so I'll say 8.3.
Okay.
But I it's the same thing. Like I blinked way too much, and I rewound the fucking movie way too much because I lost shit. So I understand that part. But when it got near the end and shit was going on, I was like, come on, they have to finish this. They have to roll it up.
Yeah,
And
it does.
then
The end of the movie feels like, wait, they're gonna what? You don't think he's gonna wipe out all the Hodgkins because there's like 20 minutes left, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of it all gets crammed in.
yeah, it's like when are we gonna wrap this shit up? And then I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a part 3. I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I think everybody knew there was going to be a part 3 going into it. They
Well,
were
I've
pretty
never read the
open about
books.
that.
I've never read the books.
Yeah,
so...
but they were open about that in the movie that
Yeah.
it was always supposed to be a trilogy in mind.
But it's also, it doesn't end the way a movie should end when you know the next part is coming. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if this was the last movie, you'd be like, oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't get that feeling like, yeah, there is another movie.
It does have a little bit of the Terminator 1 vibe, where it's almost like there's a storm coming. That was kind of the vibe of a sequel that it was giving, I think. Yeah, right.
The little kid.
That's before she
Where
learned
is he
Spanish
now, man?
and how to kill.
Where's he now?
He is what they call a coyote, and he's currently helping people over the border as we speak.
Ah, I gotcha.
For thousands of dollars, yes.
He's getting paid more now, huh? Okay.
Yeah, better
You
than
see the
he was
video
in
of that
Hollywood.
officer who made it to the border, that patrol officer, the border officer, and he was supposed to prevent people from jumping over, and he's just standing at his truck like, and people just going past him, like,
well, like that's the thing is like he can't shoot him. What the fuck is he supposed to do?
Like, I know, yeah.
Like this government has taken any power away from border agents. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, eat your lunch?
You ever
buddy.
see the other videos where he goes, "Hey, where are you from?" He's holding the camera. He goes, where are you from? China. Oh, China. Mexico. Oh, okay, China.
Yeah.
Like he keeps going on.
I've seen a lot of video of just angry border patrol that was like, we can't fucking do nothing. Look at this.
Yeah, they can't. They can't do anything.
Who knows? With Trump getting convicted, they're trying to make sure he can't run.
34 counts, dude. 34 fucking counts.
Here's the thing,
bias, because
here's the thing: if he appeals that to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court's going to destroy it because it was a sham of a trial. It was rigged. I mean, the trial was rigged against him hard. Any political analyst will tell you that.
He's corrupt, like any politician is corrupt.
All of them are.
Yeah.
Well, not like a politician. He's corrupt like a businessman is corrupt.
Yeah.
Who stepped into a politician world.
Which is way too similar, if you ask me.
But that trial was like, that was a head hunting attack.
Yeah.
This side of the government trial, like, there's no hiding it.
The scariest part of it is what you're seeing in actuality is the United States government doing everything they can to try to hurt a political opponent of the current establishment, which is an egregious, abuse of power. And that's why all he needs to do is appeal it, and the Supreme Court will look at it and look, things like the judge at the end separated the jurors into 4 groups, which is illegal.
That's
Yeah, shit like that. Like, they wouldn't let Trump retort for half of the bullshit evidence they brought in. They wouldn't look at other evidence that Trump had brought in to counter the evidence they were posing against him. The entire thing was a kangaroo court.
And the evidence they wouldn't look at was evidence that was agreed upon by both sides to allow to be brought in.
Wow.
And they wouldn't. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, like no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you really should be appalled as an American seeing this presidency use the legal system to destroy a political opponent. It's should be worrying for everybody, because
when it comes to
all this is trying to stop him from running.
When it comes to who they're attacking somebody who had all kinds of things in the retail world, right? Buildings and shit like that.
His fingers into everything.
And then here we have Joe Biden's son, who is connected to a lot of other shit, but whether it's hearsay or not, that's in government fucking ties. Like, it has something to do with fucking.
Well, there's all those Biden journals from his son that reference the big man getting the kickbacks. And it's very heavily assumed that the big man is Biden himself.
See, so you get stuff like that, and who would you really? And this world is so fucking blind. Who would you really fucking care about that you want to keep out of your politics?
I mean, here's the thing: if you just look at facts, what was everybody's standing in 2017 compared to their standing now. If
Yep.
anybody can look at the country right now and say the country is better off than it was in 2017, they're a liar. It just isn't true. America's really in the shits right now, whether it be, border security, inflation going from when Biden took office, it was 1.4%, and now it's at 9.2 or something like that. Like, it's just a lot of fuckery that's gone on in this country in the past 4 years. And
Yeah.
this administration refuses to take any credit for it. And then you see things like this kangaroo court, where to me, no matter who I wanted to vote for, I'm seeing the current establishment twisting the legal system to try to fuck over a political opponent. And like I said, all he's going to have to do is appeal to the Supreme Court, and that shit's done. But
that's the thing. Like once he appeals, right, and the charges are thrown out, guess who? I personally think it's gonna bump his numbers.
oh
for
yeah, it has been long speculated that a conviction on him with this, it guarantees his win. Like everybody's been
Oh, yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
his win is, if they allow him to run, his win is already almost guaranteed. But by them not only doing what they've done, but then showing it out in the open and parading it and acting like they did something good, all you're doing is taking the people. Like, can you imagine what your average black dude in the hood looks at when he goes, even that white motherfucker Trump is being rigged in the courtroom? What chance do I have? Like, there's a reality to that. Of if they can rig the system against a former president, the fuck do you think you're doing to their average dudes getting popped for weed?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just you could say fuck Trump all you want, but how do you look at this and say this is okay, and then you want to bitch about unfair trials for people of color and people in, not even just people of color, people in economically dissolute areas? How can we say that the justice system is fair? How could you ever tell somebody who's on trial for some small crime that the justice system is fair, when all they have to do is turn on the TV and look at this kangaroo court to a former president, no less? Like that to me, that just shakes the foundation of, like, if I'm a low-level drug dealer at this point, I'm hiding, because that means these motherfuckers don't care anymore. They're going all out. They're going to get what they want to get, and that's it. It's fucking crazy. All right. That was a weird political switch. I will say that.
That was my fault, I think. No.
I don't know. Thursdays I will be starting soon, hopefully, the Nerditude show. And that'll be a mix of everything. I think that's going to be some clips, some political, some media, some movies. I think we're going to end up kind of taking on most topics that I run my mouth about. But fair and balanced, just like mainstream media. Don't worry.
There you go.
Fuck fair and balanced. We need people's opinions. We need dumb opinions. We need good opinions. We need discourse.
We just need to be able to debate without being called, if you're debating with somebody who doesn't agree with you, being called a racist, a bigot.
Well, look at these pro-Palestine protests on these schools. You can't even walk through the campus without being threatened.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a public university, you little shit. Like, who the fuck do you think you are with your little face covering and your mommy and daddy's tuition they're paying for? Like, I'm going to stomp you to death. Like, I'm so glad I'm not in college.
Of protesters and people in their little circles don't understand this country progressed because somebody came up with an idea and it was questioned. Like, that's why it progressed. Every time something was brought forward, it was like, well, it was debated, and then we realized the answer.
What people don't understand is free speech means nothing if it's only speech that you agree with.
Yeah,
the whole point of free speech is that
everybody has free speech, not just you.
Exactly. Like, disagreeing is free speech. So if you try to make all the talk only what you agree with, that's not free speech. No. Maybe it says some skits, some monologues.
That's one-sidedness.
Yeah, the Nerditude show definitely. I think what I'll do is I'm going to phrase it to have like a little opening monologue and just kind of joking around and talking, and then we'll check out some clips and some funny stuff that I see throughout the internet and shit like that. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen come November. I'm assuming he's appealing this to the Supreme Court immediately, but who the fuck knows, man? It's wild right now. Our everything's kind of up in the air with this fucking shit. It's goofy.
It is.
And it should worry everybody, because once again, the government's willing to rig an entire thing like this on a former president, what do you think they're willing to do to you if they want you in jail?
Yeah.
With that said,
Wake up, people.
as a final message from the Nerditude Movie Podcast, do not trust your local government and stop voting Democrat. In fact, stop voting for anybody. We'll take over a Benihana and we'll have some sake. We'll develop.
We're not gonna protest.
We'll develop well, that's the thing is if you go to like a Benihana, you're probably too drunk and full at the end to do anything. You just want to go home and maybe catch a nap. You know what I mean?
We have to review that PCU movie with Jeremy Piven.
Oh God, I remember
and John,
that one.
And Favreau. We're
Well,
not going to protest.
Favreau sure was fat in that movie too.
Yeah,
he was a chubby boy. Chubby boy with chubby cheeks. Yeah, stupid braid dreads. Yeah, he looked so greasy throughout that entire fucking movie. I never understood that him in that one. It was just, I guess you got to get your start somewhere.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're done for the night. Thank you for hanging out on this Friday night. We will be back next week. We're not sure what movies we're doing yet, but we'll pick some fun movies. And we will see you guys then. Thank you for watching, everybody. We do really appreciate it. Say bye, fellas.
Goodbye. Everybody have a good night.
Bye. Weekend.